I made over $15,000 in 1 month arbitrage betting, and today I'm going to share with you the 5 most important tips that took me from beginner to consistently profiting every single day using this strategy. In March alone, I placed almost 1,000 bets, wagered nearly $200,000, and brought back a 7.81% return. That's $15,000 in profit with 0 losing days. But here's what most people don't tell you about arbitrage betting. 99% of people who try arbitrage betting struggle to find consistent opportunities, and they make costly mistakes that eat into their profits. I'm going to show you exactly how I use OddsJam software to find these opportunities, but more importantly, the strategies and settings that most people completely mess up. In the next 8 minutes, I'll break down each tip with real examples from my $15,000 month. And tip number 4 alone has dramatically improved my success rate. The first tip is mastering your live arbitrage settings on OddsJam. Let me show you my setup that made my $15,000 month possible. Over here on OddsJam's arbitrage tool, we are currently selected on live. And as we go into our filters, the first thing that we're going to want to focus on is our minimum percentage. I set this to at least 5%. I don't waste time on 1 to 2% ARBs when there are bigger opportunities available that justify the effort. But here's the game changer. In the in-game status section, most beginners leave this on live thinking they'll receive more opportunities. But here's the problem. About 80% of live ARBs disappear within seconds because games move so fast. I use stoppage only because bets are going to appear during timeouts, quarter changes, commercial breaks, when lines are actually stable and you can execute both sides. If you want to try OddsJam and the arbitrage software 1 week for free and then save 35% off your first month after the 1 week trial ends, use code Billy35. It's going to be linked down below in the description. Tip number 2 is knowing your sportsbook speeds. Here's what I've learned placing nearly 1,000 bets. Some books like FanDuel and Fliff are very sharp and move their lines quickly. But other books like BetMGM or DraftKings, they're a little slower to adjust their odds. So why I bring this up is because when I see an ARB between Fliff and BetMGM, I always bet the Fliff side first, even if BetMGM is more profitable. Why? Because I know that Fliff is going to move their lines before BetMGM adjusts theirs, giving me time to complete the ARB. For live arbitrage betting, I focus on books that show max wager limits up front. FanDuel's a great example where I can type in a large number and they will tell me the max wager size on the week's rise over 1.5 hits before I even place the ARB. So some other sports books that offer this type of feature is Fliff, Hard Rock, and ESPN Bet. All of these books provide the same thing that FanDuel does right here, which really makes things easy. I know exactly how much I can bet before I even start, which saves crucial time. But there's something about round numbers that can leave you stuck on one side of a bet. Tip number 3 is the round number strategy. In basketball, sportsbooks have lines for round numbers. Like over here on FanDuel, looking at the Mercury and the Fever on this WNBA play, you can see 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 points. These are standard bets that stay available throughout the game. If you're betting on a player to score 20 points or more, you can take your time. That line stays open. But if you're betting on a player over under 14.5 points, like on Sabali right here, while maybe some of the other books have this at 13.5, you need to move quickly on that under bet because it's not a standard line and the opportunity might disappear. This brings me to the biggest execution mistake that costs people money. Tip number 4 is people trying to perfect their bet sizing. So the execution mistake is overthinking your bet sizes and missing out on opportunities while you calculate. And here's my approach that's helped me execute nearly 1,000 bets efficiently. So you can see right here between Fanatics and ESPN Bet, we're betting $75 on Fanatics, $100 on ESPN Bet. If I trim this wager size down to $50 on Fanatics, use round numbers. Don't type in $66.86. Just type in $65. It's faster to type, easier to track, and the small difference in profits isn't worth missing the ARB entirely. Stick to major sports during prime time. The NFL, NBA, MLB. These have the most volume and stable lines like money lines, spreads, player points. I avoid obscure markets because they're less reliable, like NBA player turnovers or Major League Baseball player runs. But even with perfect execution, there's one money management strategy that multiplies your opportunities. The final tip is bankroll recycling, and this is crucial when you're live arbitrage betting. Instead of waiting for games to end, go after quarter bets or half bets, specifically with certain sportsbooks that are going to pay you out quickly, like FanDuel and Fanatics. If you have an over-under first quarter arbitrage play in the NFL, well, Fanatics and FanDuel, they're going to pay you out immediately after the quarter ends. You don't have to wait until the end of the game to get paid out, which means you get that money back and now you can reinvest it into the market again. With arbitrage betting, the more money you invest into the market, the more money you're going to make. So with college football or the NFL or the NBA on certain days, where you have the early slate of games, then the late slate, and then the Sunday night football game, right? You can go ahead and try to get your entire bankroll down in the early slate of games. Get that money back, reinvest it into the late slate of games, and then maybe the prime time games at night. The more times that you can recycle your bankroll, the more money you're going to make with this strategy. Track everything. Use OddsJam's bet tracker religiously. After placing nearly 1,000 bets, I can tell you that tracking your balances across books is what separates successful arbitrage bettors from those who struggle. Keep track of how much money you have on each book. You're going to win some bets, you're going to lose some bets. So money's going to shift between accounts. Knowing your balances prevents you from trying to place a bet when you don't have enough funds. These 5 tips are exactly how I achieved a 7.1% return on nearly $200,000 wagered with 0 losing days. Master your OddsJam settings, know your book speeds, understand round numbers, perfect your execution, and recycle your bankroll efficiently. Again, if you want to try OddsJam 1 week for free and then save 35% off your first month after the trial ends, it's linked in the description below. I put arbitrage betting and positive EV betting head-to-head against each other for 1 month. And if you click this video right here, it's going to walk you through my results from both strategies so that you can determine which one's the most profitable.